Good evening. You're very welcome to this week's episode of Centre Ground. And tonight, I'm putting the spotlight on some of our unsung heroes for the last year throughout lockdown. First up, Ray Dolan is from Mullingar, and he has been entertaining us every single day for the last year with 2 sessions each day. Eileen is from Sligo, and Eileen has been providing free cookery demonstrations for the last year. And Jimmy, also known as Jimmy Jess, has been entertaining us 3 or 4 times a week with his wonderful videos, a satirical take on what's actually happening in the country at the minute. And then in the second half of the programme, as always, Dr. Peter Dunn will review the mainstream media hot topics of the week and put a question to the panel. But first, I invite you to go to the Irish Inquiry web. There's a drop-down box there, and it says help us, and you can enter in details of how you can help us with your technical skills. And at this stage, I would like to pay tribute to Enda, who contacted us here at the Irish Inquiry, and he did the editing on the video clips for tonight. So I'd like to thank Enda for that. If you can in any way help us with your technical skills, please let us know. Alternatively, if you can make a small donation towards the upkeep and running of the site, we don't have any advertising, any sponsors, and there is a cost involved in keeping the platform up and running. So a small donation would be very much appreciated. And so to tonight. Actually, tomorrow is the first anniversary of that historic speech that Leo Varadkar gave in Washington announcing lockdown restrictions. So maybe before we begin the programme, we'll take a quick look at the start of that speech.
So from 6 p.m. today, the following measures are being put in place, and they will stay in place until the 29th of March. Schools, colleges and childcare facilities will close from tomorrow. Where possible, teaching will be done online or remotely. Cultural institutions will close as well. Our advice is that all indoor mass gatherings of more than 100 people and outdoor mass gatherings of more than 500 people should be cancelled. Arrangements are being made to ensure that everyone entering Ireland through our ports and airports is fully informed and self-isolates if they develop symptoms. You should continue to go to work if you can, but where possible you should work from home. And in order to reduce unnecessary face-to-face interaction in the workplace, break times and working times should be staggered and meetings done remotely or by phone. Public transport will continue to operate. The shops will remain open, and we have plans to ensure that supply chains will not be interrupted.
Yes, and I suppose looking back on that clip, it's a year old now, we could never possibly have imagined or envisaged what lay ahead for us for the year. And there have been many tributes paid to the frontline workers who kept the country running for the last year. Indeed, we could never repay the nurses in the ICU, in the hospital, the healthcare workers, all of the medics, all of the hospital staff, ambulance staff, shopkeepers. The list goes on and on. The people who have for the last year have gone out to work daily in order to keep the country running and keep the country functioning. And, you know, I think all of us are very, very conscious and deeply, deeply grateful to these people. But tonight I want to pay tribute to just 3 of the unsung heroes. They are the people who have been entertaining us, educating us and keeping us sane for the last year, that have been helping us to connect with each other. And I suppose without them, I suppose many of us would have ended up with worse mental health issues than is already there. And first up, Ray Dolan. Ray is from Mullingar. He is a member of the famous Dolan family. Ray is a nephew of the famous Joe Dolan. And I've come to know Ray in the last couple of years. You know, he had been touring with the Joe Dolan tribute show, but because of the restrictions for the last year, he has taken to entertaining us from his bus. You're very, very welcome to Centre Ground.
Hello, and how's it going? And all your viewers are looking in. It's great to be on the show. And we're coming to you live from our tour bus. We've got our lights on here in the background, and I got my shirt on especially because Anna is dressed up and all the crew is dressed up today. So great to be on board, and delighted to be here.
And I suppose maybe before I begin to chat to you, I will let our viewers have a small taste of what they can expect from you if they tune into you every day. So maybe, Stephen, you might run our first clip.
Well, good evening, folks, and you're all very welcome to the bus sessions coming to you from Mullingar, in Mullingar, going live for the last 338 days. Would you believe it? 338 days we're going live on the bus. Delighted that you make the time to see us and join us on the bus. This one called Old Flames. Downtown tonight, I saw an old friend, someone who I used to take comfort long before I met you. I saw the spark in her eye of forgotten desire. With a word or a touch, I could rekindle that fire. Old flames can't hold a candle to you. No one can light up the night like you do. Flickering embers of love, I've known one or two, but old flames can't hold the candle to you.
Yeah, so a clip there from one of your bus sessions. So you have 2 sessions going every day, Ray. Tell me about them.
We have 2 sessions. We start off, we have our 12 o'clock, we call it the 12 Bongs. This is a show that we promote business in Mullingar, encourage people to go out and, as I said, go and get involved in the business in Mullingar. Like we go to a different business every single day. And with that, we start at 12 o'clock. So we've gone to a lot of businesses in Mullingar. We've gone to Mileage Tires and we've gone to Wheel and Fuel. We're actually down there for the last 6 weeks giving away fuel, and we're going to Machinery Warehouse on Friday, and they're giving away a roller if you enter the competition. So we're having a bit of fun, and as well as that, we go live. We've gone live twice on the streets of Mullingar this week. So yeah, that's the one show. We do that every day at 12 o'clock, and we continue that on. Then at 5 o'clock or 5:30 between the two, we start the bus sessions, and the bus session is going now 353 days. So we're definitely getting cabin fever in the bus.
That's an incredible feat to go out every single day for almost a year. And of course, next week, you know, it will be the full year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're coming up on, it's 53 now. So we've 365 days. So we're very close to the end of our bus session. I don't know whether we'll end it or not, but it's like a habit has continued. So let's see what we'll do after the 365 days, you know. Mm-hmm. And we have people all over the world as well. Sure, it's more for me, I'd say, than anything else. And then people come in. We've people coming in from South Africa, people from Brazil, people from America. A lot of the diaspora from Mullingar that come in as well, and all just they'll come in for the 2 shows, or some will come in for the 1 show, you know.
And Ray, I suppose if we go back to the last year,
Mm.
when the lockdown was announced, I suppose like every entertainer in the country, you had a diary that was probably full for the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think my diary was full, and I thought to myself, what am I going to do? And I just thought to myself, I'm going to have to start a routine. And that was my routine, that you had to get up early in the morning because you had to prepare for your 2 shows, whether you were doing them great or doing them badly, but you were definitely going to do them. And that was the idea, to make the routine and get into a routine of not just sitting and saying, oh, this is shocking and that's shocking and the other thing. So it was in a way to learn again as well, and to put yourself out there as well and have fun in front of the camera.
And I suppose the one thing that I've heard so many people say about your show and your entertainment daily is that it is very much a COVID-free zone. There isn't a single reference to COVID.
No, well, we do our best, because I mean, the whole story of COVID is it's all over the place. And my idea was actually just to get out of that zone and come into our own zone here on our bus, and just, as I said, try and be positive, and to just actually get away from it more than anything else, because it's very hard on everyone just listen to it non-stop. So the idea was just literally go into the bus and just give off some bit of energy to people that are looking in from all over the world and downtown Mullingar. And you know, I was doing live broadcasts for a long time before this. I started off on the streets of Mullingar. Literally, the first one I done was at the statue, and we were doing a festival, and I actually used to record myself singing. And then I look at it and they go, oh, that's, yeah, you should be doing that. So it was sort of learning my art. And then Facebook went live, and I says, wow, that's a great idea. So I said, no more editing, just put it up there and off you go. So mistakes and all. So it's become sort of part of my show just to go and do it. And we've had loads of different people on the show, like we had an Irish dancer, Kevin Lester was on the show, and he danced on the show one day. We had Seamus O'Rourke, the famous writer from up in Leitrim. Anna Griffin came in and she read from her book, international writer from Mullingar. We had the famous Jimmy Jess was on board. We had Donny Keys, we had Fiona Sir, we had Katie Gallagher, and we had a comedian today who's living in Mullingar, and he's from England, and he thinks it's the greatest place in the world, and he's called Matt Brown. So, and it's very interesting because you keep learning every day. Like when you have a guest on board and you're doing your show, sometimes you have to set yourself that you don't get too excited. Like when Seamus O'Rourke was on, I'm a fan of Seamus O'Rourke, and I was delighted that he was on the bus with us. But I just got so excited, I started howling and laughing, but he's a great sense of humor as well. So, and a real gentleman. So it's an exercise in learning your art, as well as learning how to project yourself and speak to people and bring it back and have it slow and forward. So yeah, it's a whole exercise for me, but I'm delighted that it's going well, and some people are really coming back, and we've great guests. But this is what I'm doing, and this is what's keeping me grounded. Mm-hmm.
And in keeping yourself grounded, you're keeping half the country grounded as well when they tune into you. Now, you mentioned there that people are tuning in from all over the world, and we have a clip here now of an interview that you have done in the last while with Johnny Daly from Mullingar. If you could roll that there now, please, Stephen.
Hello.
Well, Ray.
John, how's it going?
All is well. How's things?
Fantastic. You're out the back of the house.
I am indeed. We have a little courtyard in the middle of the house, so it's nice and cool outside, so might as well make the most of it.
Excellent. Well, delighted that you've taken the call. As I say, we're putting the word out to all our diaspora. For the last few weeks, we've been chatting to different people from Tasmania to Australia, and now we have managed to get to chat to you in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that's it.
Where in Abu Dhabi are you?
So we're in a place called Khalifa City. So Abu Dhabi is the capital of the United Arab Emirates. Like probably most people know Dubai.
Yeah.
But Abu Dhabi would be the capital. A lot of Irish over here. Like there's thousands and thousands of us here as well.
Go away.
Yeah, there's a serious contingency of us. Like a lot of us are teachers. I'm a teacher myself, and either a teacher or you're a nurse, one or the other. You rarely find like the majority of people here are teachers, you know.
Wow.
And like 90% of the country are expats.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
There's Paddy. Oh, yeah, that was Johnny, as I say. He has his name in every different way, because John Daly, going looking for John Daly on Facebook is like there's 5 million of them. So he spelled his name O'Dalik Shonakeen or something. So his name is Johnny. But yeah, lovely guy, great chatter, and fantastic. He came on board because we're going live one day, and he just said to his friend, just to say hello to his friend who's he's a Donegal man, I think, or from Roscommon, one or the other, and he says, will you say hello to him, the best PE teacher in Abu Dhabi? And we just reached out to him, and he took the call then, and great guy. And you know, isn't it super that the diaspora is looking in, so it gives him a little bit of home virtually in them few minutes and having the crack on that. So it's good, as I said, in general, for people looking in from all over the world. There's a gentleman that comes in from Australia, Sean Breen, and he's living out there 40 years, and he was from Patrick Street. So we went and made live videos for him in Patrick Street, and he was so enamored by the whole thing. He sent me back a couple of t-shirts and a hat from Australia. So there's a lot of goodwill out there. There's a lady comes in from America every single day, and she's looking forward to coming back to Mullingar. She ended up sending me clothes as well. So there's another lady then, she sends me chocolate from London. So you know, and you think that you're just, as I said, singing away and making loads of mistakes, but people are getting, we're delighted that people are getting excited about the show, and it's something new. So let's see where it's going to bring us now in the year to come. I mean, we're in a brand new year again, you know, so let's see what's going to happen now this year. If there's a Mercedes dealer out there, I'm looking for a Mercedes now as well. If someone wants to promote, we've got an 07 Mercedes here. It's in good shape, but still we're doing a lot of work with it, even during this lockdown, you know. But yeah, so it's, as I said, it's go on.
A shout out for a little bit of sponsorship there. Well, listen,
Exactly.
Ray, before you go, I also want to pay tribute to Maggie, your partner. You left out one of the most important dignitaries that you had on the bus in the last year, and that, of course, was my good self.
Correct and right, Anne. Yes, you were on the bus. As I said, there was a lot of VIPs, and you were top of the list, my dear. Fair play to you, and you're doing an absolute super job. And I thank you very much for inviting me on the show. And I'm absolutely chuffed. And Maggie sends her regards as well.
Yeah, I want to pay tribute to Maggie because I know that people that join your bus session, she's always there with a welcoming, with a fantastic welcome, fantastic Donegal welcome, and the cup of tea and the biscuits and the homemade cake and everything like that. So a big shout out to Maggie, who is tuned in tonight.
Thank you.
So behind every great man, there is a great woman. And in your case, it's definitely true. Well, Ray, as I say, tonight we're putting the spotlight on the unsung heroes for the last year, and you are one of them. I want to pay tribute to you for the immeasurable work that you have done in entertaining people and connecting the diaspora, and just, I suppose, providing a space twice a day for people to escape, I suppose, what is a difficult time. So thank you so much for that, Ray.
I appreciate it, Anne, and delighted that you gave me the call and to be on your show. And a big shout out there to Stephen as well, who's holding the fort. Thank you very much indeed.
We'll be back to you in the second half of the programme, Ray.
Thank you.
Well,
chat to you a while.
My next guest is Eileen from County Sligo, and Eileen hosts a Facebook Live cookery programme regularly. And you're very, very welcome to Centre Ground, Eileen.
Oh, thank you, Anna. I'm delighted to be here as well. So, no more than the other two lads. I just put a line through my whole business that day in March last year, and I went home and I said, what in the name of God will I do with myself? And I took my courage in my hands, and the first day I said, I'm going to do a little one now, and it's going to be hot chocolate, which takes 5 minutes. Oh, will you stop? Sure, I was doing it on my phone, and my sister was texting me, and I lost the connection, and it was terrible. And the second day I was a bit more organised. So I went on my laptop and the fire alarm went off. And I heard myself saying, sure, if the firemen come, they'll have something to eat anyway. And from there on out, the nerves went, and I just started doing it every day. So I was doing it every day for a few months. And then slowly but surely, I started to get a bit busier. So I go on every Friday now, and an odd time in and out between, just to, give them a little boost.
Well, we'll have a little flavour, a little sampler of what you do. You can roll it there, Stephen.
It's the same method. It's flour, it's egg. So the reason you put the flour in first is so that the egg has something to stick with. So if you think about it, make a little mind map for yourself. That's not very nice looking now, that egg today. Make a little mind map for yourself that if you just put in the egg, well, it'll just go all small. So you put in the flour and you get a coating on the chicken, and then you have something for the egg to stick to. So
a little sampler there, Eileen. When I tune into you, I always feel as if I'm sitting the other side of that worktop or counter space, and I'm right there with you. You have this wonderful capacity to connect with the people that are watching.
Yeah, and that is just music to my ears. I love that. It just happens. I chat away and cook away. I'm not very good at talking when I'm not cooking. So you're lucky here. I haven't a little bowl here in my hand. But no more than I've lost the name that was ahead of me. There's loads of people from all over the world watching me, and I keep connected with them. They'll send me photos of things they make or send me little questions, and I be on Facebook with them, but I also talk to them on the phone, and it's great fun for me as well. I really, really enjoy doing it.
Yes, and I suppose, well, first of all, just to talk about your recipes, I just find that they're just so educational. I've just learned so much from watching your programs, and I would consider myself, a reasonably good cook. But, you're always giving wonderful tips, and even as you're cooking away, you're looking at the screen and you're answering the queries and questions that people are sending into you. And the other thing that I love about a live like we're doing now, it's authentic, so anything can happen. And there have been a few mishaps throughout the year, Eileen. I know some people have come into your kitchen unexpectedly in the midst of your live stream, not knowing that you're live streaming, and you get them to say no and all of that kind of thing.
Or a son coming in trying to get a bit of food behind the camera, or there's a hold on a minute here now. There's an old bold brat just come in here an odd time too that I can't keep manners on. This is Jimmy.
How you doing? Actually, you took the words out of my mouth. That was the very next thing that I was going to say to you is hubby always has a cameo role, and you've even brought him on to cook alongside you at times.
I have indeed, but he's better suited at the sink. But no, so you know, and this is what he's at all the time, and I think that's what people love. You know, there's no point having all the little bowls with your bit of this and your bit of that. One of the things that I remember most was one day I was frantically looking for the little salt, and the next thing I saw all the things. Eileen, it's in front of the flower. Because they could see it and I couldn't see it, do you know? But I do get little presents as well. So these are my Easter presents, little rabbits that I got from, where am I? Where my camera? Little rabbits that I got with little Easter eggs in it. So one for the two of us here. We got them this week.
People are just so incredibly kind. Now, as I say, Eileen, it's much more than a cookery program. You actually engage with the people and chat to them. And I suppose the bit that I love is when the cake or whatever is in the oven baking and you're waiting for it to come out, you go over to the fireside, you sit down on the chair, and then you start to chat to the people that are live with you. And there can be several hundred. I mean, I just tuned in the other day, shortly after you went live, and there was over 400 people online watching you. Now, I didn't have time. I had to go, but incredible, you know, so early on in the live stream, so many people watching you. We have a short clip here of how you respond to people, and just give you an idea of what you do.
Can I say it this time?
Yeah.
Roll it there, Colette.
Your pies, go back. I'm going to try your pies to do the chicken pot pies, and no repeat to wash up as it should be. You be quiet, Jane, now, we'll throw you out. Don't be trying to spread the ceremony among me and among the marital couple. Oven temperature, sorry, 190. Hello, Sheely, how are you? Oh, Karen, you're in trouble. Yes, Karen is in trouble. Yeah, Karen's in trouble. Pamela, you are a very nice person. Love your cooking. Thanks, appreciate it. I was actually, Pamela, I was waiting for a butt. After the terrible things that were said to me last week, I was waiting for a butt. I was told I was greedy last week.
Yes, so I suppose the beauty of it is, as I say, that just the way you, I suppose, present your live stream, it just makes you feel as if we're right there with you. But isn't it wonderful? I mean, there's so much emphasis on the terrible things that have happened all year. And yes, terrible things have happened all year. But so much good has come of the year. And I think one of the good things that has come out of this year is that older people, not in the first flush of youth, shall we say, like myself and yourself, have been able to use the internet in the way that we do.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's and you're saying about the good that has come out. Oh my God, when we can see all our family again that we took so much for granted, it is just going to be unbelievable. But no more than you were saying about the older people, and yes, we have older people, but I actually see my little grandchildren now, who's only just 2. And if I'm only talking on their phone, they're looking, where is she? Because they're already used to the Zooms and the Skypes, and they're going, why can't I see Granny? You know, so it'll be, for us, it was a huge adjustment, but for them, it'll just be everyday life, you know?
Yes. It will be second nature. Dare I ask, Eileen, what plans have you for your business as we emerge out of lockdown later on? It's bound to start happening, you know, sooner rather than later.
Well, I have plans. I have 2 books. And again, it was another positive. People were shopping online this year. So an awful lot of people bought my Just Looking cookbooks. And of course, the more of them that's out there, the better. And people are buying them now where they saw them in the school where someone else had bought them. And we do an awful lot of, I'm a very small caterer, and we feed a lot of GA clubs and teams. So when they come back, we'll be fairly flying it, I'll tell you. And I also do, at the moment, I'm doing all my courses online, but I'll be back in the ETBs and all the special needs places as soon as we're allowed there as well, because I do an awful lot of them during the year. So I'll be busy.
Okay, so for our viewers that are looking in, Eileen has a website. I think it's eileenkitchentable.com. Is that right, Eileen?
Eileen'sKitchenTable.ie, yes.
Or it's .ie.
It is.
And it's a beautiful website, and there is a shop there. She has some beautiful books that she's written on sale, and also I think people, one of the things that I'm going to do, you had been offering Eileen's Kitchen Table for groups, small groups can go and have afternoon tea.
Yes.
So that is one of the things that I'm going to be booking as soon as the restrictions are lifted, and I'm really looking forward to travelling up to Sligo with my family, and I won't have to be doing any cooking or anything like that, and we can sit down and
I'll buy a little frilly apron for JP and he can serve you.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah, and I'd really recommend to our viewers that you look up Eileen's Facebook page. It's Eileen's Kitchen Table, and there's a whole host of videos there that you can watch. I think at this stage now, there's probably very little that you haven't cooked at this stage.
Well, you know, people, I always ask people what they want me to do. And we've done loads of things. I can't think, we've done Scottish dishes and different dishes. But we can always go back. My middle name is Quick and Easy. And we'll always go back and we'll find a quicker way and an easier way to do something. So no, the list continues, Anna. The list continues.
Yes. Well, Eileen, again, tonight's programme is paying tribute to the unsung heroes of the last year, and I want to pay tribute to you for the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work that you have done day after day in connecting people, teaching people, and helping people to stay sane. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you.
And we'll chat to you again in the second half of the programme. Gives me great pleasure now to introduce fellow Longfordian Jimmy Connell, probably best known as Jimmy Jess. You're very welcome, Jimmy.
All right, hello, and how are you, Anna? How are things? I wonder, Anna, Ray can sing for you, Eileen can cook for you. I don't know what the hell I can do for you. I can chat to you, I suppose. That's as best as I can do.
Well, I suppose we'll have a clip here now that will let our viewers see exactly what you get up to. Roll it there, Stephen.
All right, next, please. Next for the pay increase. Come on. Yes, what do you do for a living? Oh, sorry, Your Honour. You're a judge. Of course you are. Oh, I should have known. Wait, let's see what I can do for you. In line with public pay. 2%. How's that for you? Look, I know it's not hectic, but look, we'll come back to you next year. We'll give you another few pounds. Was that all right for now? No, thanks, Your Honour. Thank you. Right, goodbye to you now. Right. Next, please. Go on. Yeah. What are you? Politician. I don't think there's anything here for politicians. Oh, you're a whip. Oh, you're a party whip. So why didn't you say you're a party whip? I have one of your allowance increase for you now of 9,000. How's that? And your assistant gets 4.5. That's not too bad, is it? Have a good Christmas now. Good luck to you. Bye. Right, next. Sorry, what are you there, young girl? A student nurse. Just not. Oh, wait now. Hold on, there is something here for you, student nurse. 1 second now. Hold on, just leave that down for a second. Now, there you go. Yeah. That's it. Now, well done. Fair play to you. Keep up the good work. See you now. Have a good Christmas. Right, go on. Next. Yeah. Yeah, that must have been, there was no lockdown that time because I had a decent haircut at the time.
Well, I suppose, Jimmy, what astounds me about you is your quick turnaround. Something happens that's very topical in the news or in the media, and in a matter of hours, you are able to put out a 3-minute production, a satirical take on what's actually happening. And it all looks so easy and so simple. But for somebody like myself who has a rudimentary understanding of filmmaking, a huge amount of work goes into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of work into it, but I sort of have a routine now and a system where I work off. And in my job, my 9-to-5 job, I drive a lot. So I'm listening to the radio, I'm listening to the news of the day, and in my head, I'm coming up with an idea, a different angle on that news of the day. And if there was something I can throw a funny side to it, while also getting the message across that, look, at student nurses in that case, you know, a lot of them might watch my videos, and it was just to say, well, look, we're supporting you. We can't do much more, but we recognize the situation you're in. And it's a funny way of acknowledging the work that they do. It wasn't a pay increase, it wasn't anything else, but just to say, well done, and we got your back, I suppose, you know, in that case. But that's the way I do it, and it's in my head. I tend not to write anything down, and I ad-lib an awful lot, and I find it a lot easier than trying to go on a script where you're trying to remember, did I say that line right or did I not? So I just ad-lib, and whatever comes out of my mouth, it goes on the video. So, you know, the script writing isn't too laboursome, I suppose.
Well, you know, I didn't realise that there was no script. For somebody who's ad-libbing, it's absolutely incredible. And there's just so much ingenuity there. You know, you have your little shebeen, as it were, and you have done great, very, very funny satirical pieces from the shebeen. I suppose the one that springs to mind, or I won't be able to show it to the viewers tonight, but the one that springs to my mind is when you had it all decked out for the Dublin people, that yes. They couldn't go to the pub. And then Tony Houlihan came back off his leave of absence, and you cleared the whole place out of fear that the guards were going to arrive because you were now breaking the restrictions. But it was so funny, so incredibly funny. And as I say, you know, satire, I suppose, is about highlighting what's actually happening, but I suppose with a sense of humour, and you're able to get away with saying things that you couldn't get away with otherwise.
Absolutely, but again, it's light-hearted while getting the message across, and there's nobody being insulted or nobody, you know, the Dubs that time when they couldn't drink in Dublin, so I says, come on down here, we'll let you in here, and the amount of banter you get from Dubs saying, you know, that the other people saying, sure, that crowd never left past the M50, they wouldn't even know how to get down to Longford. Not that the Shebeen is in Longford now, if there's any guards watching, it's an undisclosed location, and it's closed until at least 5th of April or whenever they let us back into the pubs. I don't know, but I'm getting it hard to get stock for the Shebeen now at the minute. There's not enough, so there's anybody there that has spare drink going around, I need to restock the top shelf or the bottom shelf. But it's to try and get that bit of fun out in a different setting, and I find if you have a setting that matches the story you're telling, well then the story is relayed better because images often enhance what you're telling, you know. And the one time I do write a script is when I'm chatting to Mick, my neighbour who comes down, because I have to try and get the two clips going together. So I do write a script in that case to get the sequence going, you know.
Well, maybe we'll have a look now at yourself and Mick in action.
Yeah.
Hello, how are you, mate? Oh, Jesus, Jimmy, will you push up a bit, for God's sake, you're frightening the life out of me. Jesus, I'm sorry, Mick. Any harm to ask you what are you at? I'll tell you what I'm at, Jimmy, be quiet now. But I thought I heard a wolf. Did you hear it? A wolf? Sure, Jesus, Mick, there's no wolves in Ireland.
Oh, Jesus, Jimmy, didn't there are wolves in Ireland? Wasn't the Greens talking about reintroducing them there a while back? They must have snuck them in, 'cause I heard them talking about it on the radio this morning. They're trying to get rid of them.
Is that right, Mick? We're talking about it on the radio, huh? Wolves?
Aye, they were talking about, apparently there's one going round Dublin for the last while, and then there was another one spotted over in Galway a couple of months ago. I think he was on a golf course or something.
Are you sure now, Mick, that you heard them saying that? Are you sure you didn't hear something else?
No, your man on the radio asked him, what are you trying to get rid of? And he says, oh, just his wolf.
Are you sure, Mick, he didn't say Justice Wolf?
Ah, Jesus, no, Jimmy. And even Peggy rang me earlier, and she says that she heard howling on the radio.
Ah, Jesus, Mick, that wasn't a feckin' wolf howling. That was feckin' Brendan howling.
Jesus, Jimmy, I didn't hear it wrong again, did I? Why are you telling me so?
What you heard them saying was Justice Wolf, not just his wolf, and there wasn't a wolf howling, it was Brendan howling. It was Justice Seamus Wolf and Brendan howling that they were talking about.
Justice Wolf and Brendan howling. Jesus, Jimmy, what sort of an idiot am I?
You're some bio, Mick, I'll tell you that for nothing, huh? You'd want to get them old lugs checked.
Oh, indeed, Jimmy, I may as well get them. They must be full of wax or something. Anyway, Jimmy, good luck and mind yourself. Sure, if I don't find a wolf, I might find something else, a badger or something like that. Go on, Jimmy, you're gas. Good luck to you now. Bye, bye.
Hey. Good luck to you, good luck, Mick, I'll tell you. And when you're looking for that badger, don't get mixed up with a zebra or something. Good luck.
That particular clip, Anna, that clip, it was a sort of like the Greens were talking about reintroducing wolves into the country. Then you had Seamus Wolf with the controversy in the Golf Gate, and you had Brendan Howland talking. So the three things together, and it just sort of the script wrote itself with that. And in fact, Ray Dolan, I have to give him credit. He doesn't know this, but I have to give him credit for creating Mick. Because when I was on the bus with Ray chatting, he was asking me, do I have any other characters or is it just Jimmy Jess? And when I went home that evening, he has something there. Maybe, other characters would enhance the whole thing and just give a bit of variety. So that's where Mick came out of. So Ray, if you're still looking, you're responsible for Mick. But Mick gets great reaction. People love Mick. And when people meet me on the street, they ask me, how is Mick? Or when is Mick calling round? Or people message me and say, is Mick coming round this weekend? As if, Mick is actually coming to the house. So he's really enhanced Jimmy Jess, and it's a great outlet for a bit of crack and a bit of banter.
Mm-hmm. And for people that are watching the video clip there that haven't caught, of course, you are Mick as well.
Allegedly.
Which brings me to the next point. I know that you started off out on the bog. I think that's where it all began for you. And it was just yourself and your phone. And it has now evolved into a very, very slick 3-minute production. So just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, the first video I did was with no intention of putting up on Facebook at all, but I was not lying in the bog. Well, I might have been, but I was on my hands and knees looking at rows and rows of turf in front of me, and it says the monotony of this. I have to do something just to put a bit of fun or something into it. So I did a video because there was bags of turf left from the year before. They were my turf, but I put out to say we have to find out who owns these turf, And I was chatting to a friend of mine, Richie Cheevers, in the pub one night, and he says, yes, that's fierce funny. You should stick it up on Facebook. And I did. I put it up on my own page and got great reaction. And then I started, that was September 2018. So about 2.5 years ago, I started doing them. And as you say at the time, the production quality wasn't great. I had an older phone that maybe, just wasn't up to the scratch. So I'm a more modern phone now for it. And I use just an app on the phone to combine all the different clips and for the different, so I'm always trying new bits and pieces, add sounds, put in different, so that's where it's evolved to now, so it's easier, it's quicker for me now because I'm used to it, more used to it.
Well, as I say, tonight's programme is paying tribute to the unsung heroes of the last year. And I want to pay tribute to you, Jimmy, because while I make many people cry because of the material that I put up, you, in fact, have given so many, many people a barrel of laughs for the last year throughout lockdown. And, I always love when a notification comes in that you have put up a new video, because it just puts me into such good form. And I suppose the one thing that we forget is that when we put a person into good form, it has a ripple effect. So it ripples out then to all of the people that we come in contact with. So it's immeasurable, the amount of work that you have done this year to contribute to positivity and the good health of people that have watched you, and who haven't even watched you but have, I suppose, benefited from the ripple effect of it. So I just want to thank you so much for that, Jimmy.
I appreciate that, and thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me on. It's great to be able to get and discuss what I do with other people, because we don't see as many people anymore and we don't get to interact. So I suppose this is the new way of interacting, and I wish you the best of luck with your show and on at Lone Radio and all that you do as well, Anna. You're a real giant for the cause.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. And I suppose one of the great things that have come out of the year is that older people like yourselves have managed to master technology. And like tonight's live stream, Stephen is in one part of the country who is providing the platform for us to live stream. I'm in Longford, you're in Longford, Eileen is in Sligo, Ray is in Mullingar. And as always, Dr. Peter Dunn, who joins us every week for the second part of our programme, is coming from County Louth. And you're very welcome, Peter. You have been waiting quietly, as always, in the wings.
Thanks very much, Anna. And also thanks to our guests, thanks to Ray, to Eileen and to Jimmy. And certainly it's put a smile on my face, certainly, this evening. And again, thank you very much, because as the world kind of gets stranger by the day, it's good to be, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to be here on Centre Ground with yourself on the Irish Inquiry channel, which I like to think of as a sanctuary of sanity amidst these very dark times. And although we've had a good few laughs this evening on the show, we're just going to maybe change the mood a little bit and talk about a sober subject. And I'm conscious as well that it's a sensitive subject, because the past year has been traumatic. I think it's been at least stressful for many people, probably in fact most people. But I just want to say, Anna, literally, I just, in terms of improv, I will bring a little touch of positivity at the end if I get a minute, just to highlight something to people, which I think is just is potentially, I won't say life-changing, but it's certainly positive, and it's a different way maybe to look at the world. And I might bring that up near the end if we get a chance. But coming then very quickly to this week's hot topic, and the context being the struggles of many of us over the past year, which has been tough on everyone to a greater or lesser extent. And I'm not really an avid royal watcher, but I did briefly see the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview with Oprah Winfrey the other night. And I just wondered, and this is this week's hot topic question, was Meghan Markle's admission of suicidal ideation helpful?
Okay, so maybe if I could go to Ray first, And Ray, I think your microphone might be muted.
Yeah, I think it's muted from the far end.
Oh no, you're okay now. I can hear you. Okay, Ray.
So the question once again is, Anne?
Was Meghan Markle's admission that she suffered from suicidal ideation helpful? Was her admission helpful?
Well, for starters, I don't have a television, and I've only heard it through, who was it? I met a security guard down the town the other day, and he was on about it, and I've heard a few people discuss it, but I didn't hear about the suicide end. I mean, helpful to who? I mean, was it helpful to me? Hello?
Hello, yes, carry on.
I mean, suicide is a huge problem in the country and in every county, every town. I mean, fair enough if she got the point across and someone listened to her, yeah. It was good, it's all good, I mean, in general. Suicide I found it very hard to speak about, to get it across, because for many years everyone was sort of saying nothing, and I found it very hard to get that message. It's like the way Jimmy does all his stuff and the way he gets his point across, where mine is a different approach. But there was that walk that we done one night. Do you know the yellow
light?
Sorry?
Is it the darkness into light walk that you're talking about?
I done that one night, and I spoke to a few people that I know, and I just asked them that night, and straight away they talked about it, and I found it very hard. Well, before that, I found it very hard to sort of connect with people, but straight away they spoke about it, and they spoke about the loss of all that, and all who left, you know, they passed away this day. And only recently I was talking to a young fella as well who was on the bus, and he was speaking about it as well. So he's highlighting that, and he's going around to all the schools. So it's come of age, whether people are listening or not. I mean, we've loads and loads and loads of communication now, but you know, is everyone talking to each other, or is it just going wider and wider and wider, you know? So yeah, fair enough if she spoke about suicide. I'm sorry that she probably went into that zone. I don't really go to that area myself and do my best to keep away from it, but it is a huge problem, yeah. So you can just keep going around in circles talking about it, like.
Okay, thank you, yeah. Ray, for that. Eileen, what are your views on Meghan's admission? Do you think it is helpful? You know, will it help people to speak about it?
I think absolutely. I think the more talk there is about it will make it easier for other people to talk about it. Whether it was helpful for her to bring it out on the television is no one's really business but hers. Yeah. But the fact that you know, maybe people when they're suffering, they might think they're the only ones. And when you actually think that a princess found life so hard, you know, it kind of brings it home that it hits everybody right across all of the classes. You know, so I think the more people that talk, and you know, talk to, even if you only talk to one person, and you will obviously pick that person, and then you have a chance of getting help, because it's no good, you know, putting it down.
Right. So yeah, I suppose talking really, really helps. And finally, if I could bring you in, Jimmy, what are your views on Meghan Markle's admission?
Well, I watched the whole interview the other night because Kathy wanted to watch it, so I watched it, and interested in what she had to say. I don't want to comment on her mental state or anything else, but what I found maybe wasn't helpful was the fact that she was in a place in Buckingham Palace surrounded by aides and all sorts of services, and she found that she couldn't get help within that structure. And I felt that somebody watching who has maybe suicidal tendencies are in that dark place and look and listen to what she said and think that Well, if she's there and she can't get the help she needs, what hope is there for me? And I would hope that that's not the message that is sent out, because there's so many wonderful services in the country like Pieta House, Seed Change, the Samaritans, who are there and who are at the end of a phone, anybody that wants them. So I would love that message to get across, rather than the one that there is no help or she couldn't find help, because there is help for anybody who needs it. And if anybody is feeling like that at any stage, pick up the phone or talk to a friend. You know, we need to get that message out there. There is help, and you don't need to feel alone.
I think that's actually an excellent point, and it's one that we can't emphasize half enough, that there is help available, and that, I suppose, in my own view, lots and lots of people arrive or go through a point in life where they do feel that they have nothing left to live for. But with the right help, the right interventions, and being able to reach out to somebody, you know, it is possible just to come through that phase in life and come out the other end, and I suppose come out the other end strengthened and stronger, so that there is help there. And as you say, the Samaritans, Pieta House, the local GP, or just to phone a friend or to reach out to a friend. And these are really, really, really difficult times for people. People are losing family members. They're not able to grieve properly, have a proper funeral. They have, they're living on their own, cut off from their family. People have lost their job, lost their businesses. So it is a difficult time for many people. But I suppose the key, as you said there, Jimmy, is to reach out, and I suppose to pick up on Eileen's point, that it doesn't matter whether you're a prince or a pauper, or a princess or a pauper. At the end of the day, you're still a human being. It's not what you have and the status that you have in life that saves you. It's actually, you know, your state of mind that causes you to be that way, and that there is help available. So back over now to you, Peter.
Well, thanks, Anna. I have to say a couple of things really to say. The first thing, having seen the interview, well, I didn't actually see the entire interview. I saw about 10 minutes of the interview, and having, you know, I suppose researched it to some extent in the last few days, and having watched the commentary on social media, and as I say, not being an avid royal watcher, I'm somewhat skeptical. I think there are probably two sides to the story. So I think my impression, and I could be wrong, my impression of Meghan Markle is that she's almost a divisive character, that, you know, there's a kind of a love-hate thing. Some people really, you know, feel for her and empathize with her, and some people actually kind of, you know, would have an opinion that she is maybe manipulating the situation, I think. And there's all sorts of kind of peripheral issues brought into that as well. As I say, I don't really feel I can really comment any more than that, but I'm not sure actually if it was very helpful. There was, I just maybe want to mention a programme on the Irish Inquiry channel last night on the healthy debate with Lindy Naughton, and they featured Mark O'Byrne and Eddie Hobbs. And Eddie Hobbs brought up the issue of suicides over the past year was raised. And I was minded of, I think it was in last Tuesday's Irish Times, I think there was an article by Kitty Holland, and I think the headline, at least, they mentioned that there's been no overall increase in suicide in the past year. Others would beg to differ. Others would say that we don't really know. And I know on last night's healthy debate, Eddie Hobbs brought up the issue of the fact that we don't really know, because coroners' services have, at least for civil purposes, they've been closed, and there haven't been postmortems for the past year, and records, it's quite common knowledge now, records are not being kept. Also, there's the issue of, you know, single vehicle traffic accidents, how many of those may have been suicides, missing persons, which could possibly be presumed to be suicides. So there's a whole slew of related topics there, which seems to be maybe not being given the attention in the mainstream that perhaps it needs to get. But just if I could say to people, in terms of the whole narrative, that program last night on the Healthy Debate here on the Irish Inquiry was sublime. It was an absolute must watch. That is a very, very informative program, and I think people will learn an awful lot if they tune in. Prepare the hot beverage of your choosing and sit back and relax for an hour and watch that program, and you'll be I think blown away by how incisive it is. Just very quickly, Anna, because I know that's a very sensitive topic and it's a little bit negative perhaps, and we've had a really positive show tonight. And I just wanted to, because people are kind of struggling at the moment, a concept that I came across a number of years ago, and I know we hadn't chatted about this, and literally this just came to my mind this evening, when we started the show. A concept that I came across about 2 years ago, summer 2019, was a concept called Ikigai. So I'm not sure if that can come up. So
yes.
This is the book I have. It's the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. Now, you don't have to actually buy that book. This was a book that I subsequently bought, but there's a lot of material online. So I think that's one way that people can actually maybe perhaps, one tool that people can use. And Ikigai is a concept really where, I don't know if that's coming across, if you can find that place, that intersection where if you can do what you love, if you can get paid for it, if it's what you're good at, and if it's what the world needs, if you can find something that actually intersects at all those points, it's almost like you can find your purpose or your mission in life. And that's just one suggestion, perhaps, in terms of how people can maybe deal with difficulties and with their state of mind and the psychological stress. Obviously, there are other means: prayer, meditation, all of those means. But this is just maybe one tool that's hopefully maybe might be helpful to some of our audience, Anna.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that, Peter. And I suppose with our three guests tonight, there's no doubt about it, they have found their passion. And quite certain in all three cases that none of you are getting paid for it. So just a final word to each of you, beginning with Ray.
Thank you very much, Anna, and really appreciate to be on the show. Just a young fella that was on the bus, and as I said, we try and highlight everything on the bus and invite people on if they want to tell their story or promote their business. But this young fella's name is Josh Deegan, and he set up his own Facebook page and .com as well, and it's called Brighter Thoughts Ireland. And he goes around schools, and it's brought him into a fantastic place by literally what the doctor says there of enjoying what you're doing and helping people, and that's exactly what he's doing. So if anyone is out there, check out Josh Deegan, and his Facebook page is Brighter Thoughts, and it's brighterthoughts.ie. Once again, it's great to be on the show. It's great to meet all the guests as well. And Eileen, you're a legend. That's all I can say. You are very, very... I only watched this evening and I thought absolutely priceless. And as Anna says, you could be in the kitchen with you there. And as I said to Jimmy is... he's unique in his own style, and delighted that he came up to see us here, and including yourself, Anne. And maybe we might get the doctor to call in someday. And sure, if Stephen's passing by the bus someday as well, he's traveling that direction, he might give us a shout. I could just keep ranting and raving, and thank you very, very much once again.
Not at all, Ray. A pleasure having you, and I definitely will be calling up to see yourself and Maggie shortly. Eileen, a final word from you.
Oh, well, I want to get an invitation to the bus is the first thing.
You're very welcome, my dear. You can cook on it if you want.
No, I'll have to have a day off. You'll have to cook for me. Well, and the other thing, I really, really feel I have found that place. I love what I do, whether I'm good at it is another story or not, and I'm helping people. And I'm dying to actually Google that, Peter, to see what that's all about. So thank you very, very much, Anna. It was lovely being on with you.
Okay, and it was a pleasure having you, Eileen. And a final word, we'll give you the very final word, Jimmy.
Well, I just want to promote Edgeworthstown as being the online capital of Ireland at this moment in time. I do my little bit here. We have a guy, Adam Kelly, he's on TikTok, Two Big Lugs they call him. He has 300,000 followers on that, so check him out. We have Peter's Garage Sessions, which is Peter Costello, goes live every Saturday night singing all the tunes. Check him out on Facebook. We have Rhythm and Sticks Cracked, who do similar to what I'm doing, Aidan O'Neill, Vanessa Flood and Emmett Flood. So we're slowly becoming the entertainment capital of Ireland. Never mind Mullingar, Ray.
Go on, Edgeworthstown.
Eileen. This, I told you got somewhere. Thanks a million, Anna.
So now, that's it. To our viewers at home who have been tuning in our way, I hope that you have enjoyed tonight's program and our tribute to the unsung heroes. I've only picked out 3, and there are hundreds and hundreds more who are doing the same thing. Jimmy has just named a whole host of people who live just a few miles away from me in Edgeworthstown, and I haven't heard of them. So, in these dark times, you know, there have been many, many candles burning brightly, and every cloud has a silver lining. And we have come through the last year, as it were, in one piece. And we're heading into the second year and onwards and upwards. Thank you so much for watching. And I will not have a live stream next Wednesday night because it is, of course, St. Patrick's Day, and I will be back with you on the 24th of March for our final programme before Easter. And then there's a new lineup after Easter. I think Peter will probably be taken over from me. Maybe if you just want to say a quick word on that, Peter. Is Peter there?
Yes, I am indeed. Thanks very much, Anna.
You take him over from me.
Yes, I think I'll have very, very big boots to fill, Anna. But look, you know, we'll try our best. And we're hoping to launch a new program. And I won't give too much away, but it's going to be about sort of, you know, basically it's going to be about farming and rural affairs. And we're hoping it's going to be a new departure. So I'm currently working on that at the moment, and we're going to have, you know, some very topical issues, practical, perhaps a little controversial. We'll have a variety of guests from Ireland and some from outside Ireland, we hope. I've at least one gentleman from abroad who might be joining us. So keep an eye out for that at some stage during April. Well, we're hoping to go live early April. So, and again, just a big shout out to say thanks to Stephen. But again, Anna, you know, big shoes to fill.
Not at all. Thank you for that, Peter. And to you, our viewers, then until the 24th of March, when I will be back with you live again, have a wonderful time over Paddy's weekend. And until we meet again, Bannock de Orif Galir. Thank you for watching, and please share.